Obedience. You know, it's more than just, when you call your dog and he's obedient to come when you call him. Or when you're raising your children, you're raising them to be obedient to their parent. What about obedience to yourself? Or obedience to God? I was having a little time with him this morning, with God. And I was asking him, what does he want from me? What is it he is seeking from me? And obedience is what came to mind. He asks us to be obedient in the things he's calling us to do. And whatever that may look like in your life, that's between you and him. And what about obedience to yourself? See, in June of last year, I set on this path to be healthy. Well, if I am not obedient to the things I've put in place, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen if I'm not obedient. I said I'm going to eat raw fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. If I'm not obedient to that, that also has a little bit to do with integrity to yourself. If you say you're just going to be on a vegan diet, high raw, are you being obedient to that? I say I'm going to walk every single day. Rain or snow, it don't matter. Am I being obedient to that? And so I would kind of think I want to go through a checklist of all these things I've put in motion that I want to do. Write my cookbook, give a seminar this year. Am I being obedient? Am I being obedient to the things that it's going to take to make those things happen? Because they're not just going to happen if I say I'm going to do them. I have to be obedient to the steps that it's going to take to see that through. And obedience isn't always the easiest thing, is it? Because we tend to want to go the opposite sometimes. If something's too hard, too confusing, just overwhelming, we steer far away from obedience to those things. So I'm not quite sure what the answer is on that, as far as how do we make ourselves be obedient? How do we make ourselves want to be obedient? I guess that's the biggest question. How do we want to be obedient to the things and the processes that need to happen for us to reach the goals that we've set for ourselves, or the life that we've set in motion for ourselves? Well, one thing I would think that would help us with that is to read up, educate yourself on the things that you want to do. So if I want to live a healthy lifestyle and I want my food to be healthy and nourishing for my body, I should kind of learn about that. What is that going to take? What foods are best? What foods aren't best? What foods will hurt me? If I want to, do 20 push-ups, which is in my goals for this year. So I want to be able to do 20 push-ups in a row. I'm up to 3. But what's it going to take to strengthen my arms so I can do that? What kind of obedience am I going to have to that process of strengthening my arms? So education, I think, is important. when you set yourself on any path, educate yourself. Because when you're educated, you're more likely to be obedient to that path. Another way I'm thinking is to share that path with somebody. Then you can be obedient to that person. You have to be obedient to yourself first. But sometimes when you're obedient to another person who's telling you, Tamara, no, you're not supposed to eat that. Be obedient to that person and don't eat it. Because in the long run, who is that going to benefit? It's going to benefit you. But if you don't have that person, you need to get that person. Because it's an accountability partner, yes. But it goes much deeper than that. Because if you don't pick up the phone, if you don't reach out to that person, it's not going to work. That obedience isn't going to work. Because you don't have the relationship with that person. You've not worked with that person for that person to help train you to be obedient in that particular area. In whatever area it is. It could be walking, it could be your eating, it could be you want a promotion at work and you're trying to work the extra mile, walk the extra mile at work to get things done, to learn. But if you don't have that other person that you can show some obedience to, which in the long run is obedience to yourself, I think that's an issue. Now, some people out there are going to say, no, you walk this alone. You don't need anybody else. Well, it's a pretty lonely life, and that's okay if that's what's good for you. But find that partner, find that person that you can be obedient to. And obedience is going to have to start by you actually speaking to them, calling them, telling them you're struggling, telling them you're winning, telling them everything. You just need to share your life with them. And lastly, I guess the third thing for obedience would be to settle your mind. Stop convincing yourself otherwise. Stop trying to, bargain with yourself. If I do this, then that. If I walk, I can eat pie. If I, whatever it is. You don't bargain with yourself. You be obedient to yourself. You be obedient to the path that you've put yourself on. Nobody else put you there. You put you there. And in order to walk that path, you need to be obedient to yourself. Stop negotiating. Stop saying you're too tired, too worked, too overwhelmed, too busy to do the things that are going to get you moving in the right direction and staying on that path. Because to me, the path never ends. It's kind of like when I'm walking around my neighborhood and I just keep doing a loop. Like one loop, the way I walk it is 2 miles. But I just keep walking it. So it never ends. There's never an ending point. And that's what your path should be. There shouldn't be an ending point. So you want a promotion at work. Okay. Well, what's after that? Well, there's keeping that job and doing what you need to do to keep it. Well, same thing with my health. Once I reach a goal weight or just a health goal, there's really no ending it. It's not like I can all of a sudden stop walking. It's not like all of a sudden I could stop eating the way I'm supposed to eat, because then you just go right back where you were. And that's no good. So don't negotiate with yourself. Stay on the course. Get yourself an accountability partner. And just be obedient. Be obedient to the path that you're on, and you'll make it. I know you will. You'll have a great, blessed day. Go raw or go home.